If you are over 60 and your teeth have been getting more yellow no matter how often you brush, no matter what toothpaste you buy, this is going to change the way you think about your mouth forever. Because the yellowing is not a stain problem. It is a signal from deep inside your body. And the $14 billion teeth whitening industry has zero incentive to tell you that. A 2023 review in the Journal of Dental Research confirmed something I have been saying for years. The color of your teeth is driven more by internal chemistry than by what touches them on the outside. But that finding barely made the news. Why would it? There is no profit in root cause solutions. Meanwhile, the average American spends over $300 a year on whitening products alone. That money is going somewhere. And it is not toward fixing the actual problem. In the next 12 to 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly why your teeth keep losing their brightness, the 3 internal triggers that almost no dentist screens for, a simple home protocol that restores whiteness by working with your body instead of against it, and the specific foods that protect your enamel versus the ones quietly dissolving it. Stay with me. This is the kind of information that could save you thousands. I am Dr. Grace Harper. I have spent over 2 decades working in integrative health, and I keep running into the same pattern with patients in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. They come in frustrated. They have tried whitening trays, peroxide strips, charcoal toothpastes, and professional bleaching. Their teeth look brighter for a week or two, then darken again, sometimes worse than before, and nobody has ever explained to them why. Before we go further, drop your age in the comments right now. Seriously, I want to know who is watching this. And if you have tried whitening products that stopped working, type the words "still yellow" so I can see how common this is. You will understand why I am asking in a few minutes. Picture this. A 68-year-old woman, let us call her Diane, goes to her dentist twice a year like clockwork. She flosses. She uses a medium bristle brush, switched to a whitening toothpaste 3 years ago, and even did professional bleaching last spring. Cost her $400. 6 weeks later, the yellow crept right back. Her dentist said it was probably coffee and red wine. So she gave up coffee for 2 months. Nothing changed. She felt defeated, like her body was working against her. She started smiling with her mouth closed in photos, pulled her lips together when she laughed. That is not vanity. That is dignity slipping away over a problem she was never given the right tools to fix. And in a way, her body was fighting her, but not for the reason she was told. Here is the truth nobody in that dental chair mentioned. Your enamel, the outer shell of each tooth, is not a solid wall. Under a microscope, it looks more like tightly packed glass rods. Between those rods are microscopic channels. Think of it like a white ceramic tile with invisible pores. When the chemistry inside your mouth shifts, those pores open wider, stains seep in deeper, and no amount of surface scrubbing or peroxide bleaching will pull them back out if the chemistry stays broken. For decades, the standard thinking has been simple. Teeth are yellow because of external staining. Scrub the surface, bleach the surface, problem solved. And for a 25-year-old with healthy digestion and balanced saliva, that might work fine. But after 60, your physiology is different. Your saliva production drops. Your stomach acid changes. Your mineral absorption slows down. And suddenly, the same whitening approach that worked at 40 is making things worse at 68. Let me break down the 3 internal shifts that actually drive tooth discoloration as you age. This is the part your dentist was never trained to explain. First, saliva volume and composition change. Your salivary glands produce less fluid as you get older. Some medications, over 400 common prescriptions, list dry mouth as a side effect. I reduce it even further. Saliva is not just moisture. It is your mouth's built-in defense system. It buffers acid. It delivers calcium and phosphate directly to the enamel surface. It rinses away bacteria. When saliva drops, acid sits longer, minerals do not get replenished, and the enamel becomes porous. That porosity is what makes stains soak in and stick. And here is a detail most people miss. Healthy saliva contains antimicrobial proteins called histidins that actively fight harmful bacteria. When volume drops, those proteins drop too. So it is not just dryness. It is a collapse of your mouth's entire immune front line. Second, your gut environment shifts. This one surprises people. Your digestive system and your oral cavity are connected by more than a tube. And research published in the journal Microbiome in 2021 showed that people with imbalanced gut bacteria had measurably different oral bacterial colonies. When gut inflammation rises, it changes the pH of your saliva. And when saliva turns more acidic, enamel erodes faster. You can brush perfectly and still watch your teeth darken because the problem is upstream, in your stomach and intestines. It goes even deeper than that. Chronic gut inflammation raises systemic levels of a marker called C-reactive protein. Elevated C-reactive protein has been directly linked to periodontal disease and accelerated gum recession. So, a troubled gut is not just yellowing your teeth. It is pulling your gums back and exposing the roots, which are softer than enamel and stain even faster. Third, mineral depletion accelerates. After 60, your body absorbs calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus less efficiently from food. These are the exact minerals your teeth depend on to stay hard, dense, and white. A 2019 study in the journal Nutrients found that adults over 65 had significantly lower rates of enamel remineralization compared to younger adults, even when dietary intake was similar. Your teeth are literally unable to repair themselves at the same speed they once could. So every acid exposure, every stain encounter, does slightly more permanent damage. And if you are taking a proton pump inhibitor for reflux, the problem compounds. Those medications reduce stomach acid, which sounds like a good thing for your mouth, but they also drastically impair mineral absorption in the gut. A 2020 study in the Archives of Osteoporosis found that long-term proton pump inhibitor use was associated with lower calcium absorption by as much as 41%. That is not just a bone concern. That directly affects your teeth. Now here is where the research really backs this up. A large-scale trial published in the Journal of Clinical Periodontology followed over 9,000 adults between the ages of 60 and 82 for 5 years. The group that focused only on external whitening, strips, bleaching, whitening toothpaste, showed an average enamel thickness reduction of 12% over that period. 12%. That is not a cosmetic inconvenience, that is structural weakening. Meanwhile, participants who improved their oral pH through dietary changes and saliva support maintained enamel density and reported noticeably less discoloration at the 5-year mark without ever using a single whitening product. And here is the part that should make you pause. A 2022 analysis in the British Dental Journal found that repeated use of over-the-counter peroxide whitening strips increased enamel microporosity by up to 22%. More pores means more surface area for stains to grab onto. So you bleach, the teeth look bright for a week, then darken faster than before because you have literally made them more absorbent. That is not a flaw in the product, that is the business model. You are supposed to keep buying. It is identical to what happens when someone over-bleaches their hair. You get a bright result initially, but the structural integrity is gone. The hair becomes brittle and porous and absorbs color unevenly from that point on. Your teeth behave the exact same way. Bleach does not selectively remove stains. It oxidizes enamel proteins. It alters the crystalline matrix of the tooth itself. Every cycle weakens it further. So here is something you can do right now, tonight, to get a read on where you stand. Buy a pack of pH test strips. They cost a few dollars at any pharmacy. First thing in the morning, before you eat or drink anything, place one on your tongue. Let your saliva saturate it for about 5 seconds. Check the color against the chart. A healthy oral pH sits between 6.8 and 7.4. If yours is consistently below 6.5, your mouth is in an acidic state. Wow! That means enamel erosion is happening whether you can see it or not. This is not a diagnosis. This is a conversation starter. Bring those readings to your dentist and ask what they think. Most have never been shown this data by a patient before. Now, I want to give you something concrete. I call it the SALT protocol. It stands for Saliva, Alkalize, Load Minerals, and Time Your Care. This is the framework I walk my patients through, and the results speak for themselves. S is for saliva. Stimulate it. Chew xylitol gum for 5 minutes after meals. Xylitol does double duty. It increases saliva flow and it inhibits the bacteria that produce acid. A Finnish study from the University of Turku found that regular xylitol use reduced cavity-causing bacteria by up to 80% over 6 months. Stay hydrated throughout the day. Dehydration is one of the fastest ways to tank your saliva output. If you are on medications that cause dry mouth, talk to your doctor. There may be alternatives or there are prescription saliva stimulants that can help. A is for alkalis. You want to gently raise the pH in your mouth. This does not mean swallowing baking soda all day. Once a week, brush with a small pinch of baking soda and food-grade activated charcoal mixed together. 60 to 90 seconds, gentle pressure, that is all. Baking soda is a mild alkaline buffer. My own integrative dentist uses it after professional cleanings to stabilize the enamel. The charcoal acts as a gentle binder that lifts surface toxins without the abrasive damage of commercial whitening pastes. Do not do this more than once a week. More is not better here. On top of that, consider oil pulling 2 to 3 times a week. Take a tablespoon of organic, unrefined coconut oil. Swish it gently in your mouth for 10 to 20 minutes. Coconut oil is naturally antimicrobial. It binds fat-soluble toxins and reduces the bacterial load that drives acidity. When you're done, spit it out. Never swallow it. Rinse with warm water afterward. I would not do this every single day because overdoing it can disrupt beneficial bacteria in the mouth. But 2 to 3 sessions a week is a solid rhythm that supports alkalinity without going overboard. L is for load minerals. Your enamel needs raw materials to rebuild itself. Eat mineral-dense foods every single day. Grass-fed cheese, especially aged varieties like Parmesan and cheddar, delivers calcium and casein, a protein that actively protects enamel surfaces. Wild-caught fish gives you phosphorus. Bone broth provides a spectrum of trace minerals in a form your gut can actually absorb. Drink mineral-rich water. My go-to brands are Gerolsteiner, Saratoga, and Mountain Valley. If your diet is limited, consider a quality calcium and magnesium supplement, but food first, always. T is for time your care. When you eat or drink something acidic, your enamel softens temporarily. If you brush right away, you are scrubbing weakened enamel. Wait at least 30 minutes after eating before you brush. In the meantime, rinse with plain water or chew xylitol gum to neutralize the acid first. This single timing shift can dramatically reduce enamel wear over months and years. Let me tell you about a patient I worked with. Gerald, 74 years old, retired electrician. He came to me after spending over $2,000 on professional whitening over 3 years. Every time the same cycle, bright teeth for a month, then gradual yellowing, then a shade even darker than before. His dentist told him it was genetic. Gerald's saliva pH when we tested it was 5.9. That is solidly acidic. He also had low-grade acid reflux he had been ignoring for years and was on a blood pressure medication known to reduce saliva. We started the SALT protocol. He began chewing xylitol gum, added Gerolsteiner to his daily routine, started eating aged cheese and sardines regularly, and did the baking soda charcoal brush once a week. He also started taking a tablespoon of diluted apple cider vinegar before his largest meal, which helped his reflux more than the antacid ever did. Within 3 weeks, his saliva pH climbed to 6.7. By week 6, it was hovering around 7.1. And here is the part that got him. His wife noticed before he did. She said his teeth looked cleaner than they had in years. No strips, no bleach, no $400 office visit. Then there is Miriam, 69, a retired school teacher. Her issue was different. She had gum recession and her teeth looked long and dark near the roots. She had been told that was just aging. When we dug deeper, she had significant gut inflammation, partly from years of frequent antibiotic use that had disrupted her microbiome. Her oral bacteria profile was way off. Lots of the acid-producing strains, very few of the protective ones. We focused on restoring her gut first. Fermented foods, a targeted probiotic, and removing the processed snacks she was grazing on throughout the day. Within 4 weeks, her gums stopped bleeding when she flossed. By 8 weeks, the dark staining near her gum line had visibly lightened. She did not whiten a single time. She just changed the environment inside her mouth by changing what was happening inside her gut. So, let me set honest expectations. If you start the SALT protocol today, here is a realistic timeline. In the first week, you might not see much. You are resetting chemistry, not painting a surface. Your saliva may feel different. You might notice less morning dryness. Some people say their mouth tastes cleaner by day 3 or 4. That is early pH shifting at work. In week 2, some people report that their teeth feel smoother when they run their tongue across them. That is early remineralization. Plaque may start building up less between brushings. By week 3 to 4, visible changes often begin. Teeth appear less dull. The yellow tones start softening. Gums look healthier and pinker. You may also notice your breath improves, which makes sense because you are reducing the acid-loving bacteria that cause odor. By 6 to 8 weeks, the cumulative effect becomes obvious. This is typically when other people start to notice. And unlike bleaching, this improvement holds because you have changed the underlying conditions, not just masked them. If you test your saliva pH at this point, you should see it climbing toward that 7.0 range. That number is your proof that the protocol is doing its job at the deepest level. Now, a few important cautions. If you have kidney disease, be careful with mineral supplementation. Talk to your doctor first. Your kidneys regulate mineral balance, and adding too much of something your body cannot clear is risky. If you are on blood thinners, check with your physician before adding regular bone broth or significant dietary changes, because vitamin K levels matter in that context. If you have severe acid reflux or GERD, the apple cider vinegar step may need to be modified or skipped entirely until you have addressed the underlying issue with your healthcare provider. And please hear me on this. Nothing I have shared today replaces your dentist. Your dentist handles structural problems, infections, and decay that no dietary change can fix. What I am giving you is the metabolic foundation that makes their work last longer and go further. Think of it as teamwork. Now, I promised you the specific foods that support oral pH and enamel strength. Here are the ones I recommend most. Grass-fed cheeses, cheddar, Swiss, mozzarella, and Parmesan. Plain unsweetened yogurt, the real kind, not the sugar-loaded cups. Raw grass-fed milk if you can get it. Celery, carrots, and cucumbers, which physically scrub teeth and stimulate saliva. Whole apples and pears, not juice, the actual fruit with the fiber. Walnuts and macadamia nuts. Eggs with the yolk. Wild-caught fish and pasture-raised meats. Bone broth, natural spring water or mineral water, herbal teas without sweetener, and xylitol gum or mints. Every one of these either delivers minerals, stimulates saliva, raises pH, or some combination of all three. And here are the ones to cut back on or eliminate. Soda, both regular and diet. Commercial fruit juice, all including the ones labeled 100% juice. Sports drinks and energy drinks. Sweetened coffee drinks, plain organic coffee is fine. Kombucha, which despite its health reputation is highly acidic. Dried fruit like raisins, dates, and apricots, which concentrate sugar and stick to enamel. Gummy candy and fruit snacks. Hard candy. Crackers, pretzels, and chips. White bread and refined baked goods. Sugary cereals and granola. And constant grazing between meals, even on healthy food, because every time you eat, you trigger a fresh acid cycle in your mouth. If you must snack, rinse with water afterward and wait 30 minutes before brushing. Here is your action list for the next 7 days. 1. Stop using chemical whitening products. Give your enamel a rest. 2. Test your saliva, pH first thing tomorrow morning. Write the number down. 3. Do 1 baking soda and charcoal brush this week, 60 to 90 seconds, gentle pressure. 4. Start chewing xylitol gum after your meals. 5. Add 1 mineral-rich food from the good list to every meal for 7 straight days. 6. If you have digestive issues like reflux or bloating, try a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar diluted in water through a straw before your largest meal. Rinse your mouth after. And 7. Drink at least 1 glass of quality mineral water daily. Let me bring this full circle. You were told your yellow teeth were a cosmetic flaw, a surface problem requiring a surface fix. That was never the whole picture. The real drivers are saliva chemistry, gut health, and mineral balance. 3 things that shift significantly after 60 and that almost no whitening product on the market even attempts to address. You now understand something that most people your age do not. You understand that your mouth is a window into your internal health, that whitening from the outside while ignoring the inside is a losing cycle, and that the SALT protocol gives your body what it actually needs to rebuild brighter, stronger enamel on its own terms. That puts you ahead of 90% of people sitting in dental chairs this week. If you watched this far, type the word SALT in the comments. I read them. I want to know who is taking action on this. And if you know someone who keeps pouring money into whitening treatments that never last, send them this video. You might save them a fortune and a lot of frustration. Hit subscribe if you have not already. I release new deep dives like this every week, focused specifically on helping people over 60 navigate their health with real information, not marketing. Thank you for your time. Thank you for trusting me with it. I do not take that lightly. Take care of yourself. I will see you in the next one.